Hello everyone, it's Daniel Mercurio, and I wanted to touch upon what is happening cosmically, energetically, worldwide with the current energy that's surrounding us with the solar eclipse. So it's really interesting because what happens is twice a year we have eclipses, and we always have a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. It happens twice a year, verbatim, without fail. But for some reason, everybody is talking about this upcoming solar eclipse, right? And why is that? So why is everyone buzzing about it, right? Like people that like are coming out of the woodwork, like the solar eclipse, they're traveling places, they're getting the glasses, they're doing all the things, right? And so, well, eclipses have always kind of been part of like we'd notice, like, oh yeah, there's an eclipse or whatnot, but it wasn't to the extent of this. There wasn't like Instagram stories and Snapchat like going like balls out over this, and it's still like a couple days away. So why is that? Well, here's the thing. For those of you that have been following me, astrology, all the things, like we know, like every 6 months, there's eclipses, and eclipses are a big deal because what they do is they activate change fast. Typically what happens is with a regular moon cycle, with the new moon, it's activated for about 4 weeks. What happens during an eclipse is activated for about 6 months, okay? So it's really potent, really energized, and it's a time where things escalate very fast and things are just taken out from under us, right? Either we take the initiative to do that or it is just taken out that way. Now, why this one seems to be so big, so bold is twofold. One, because it can be visible. Typically, we don't always see an eclipse, okay? It happens in certain parts of the world, but it's not always happening in America in the way that it is now. And because America is so bold, such a front runner in the world, and the fact that we can see it, everybody wants in on it, which is interesting because the eclipses are always happening, and it's not so much about what you can see for the eclipse to have an impact on your life. It's what you can feel, and it's what you can trust and what you can believe in. So this is very interesting because I'm very much a component of, okay, I will see it when I believe it. And this is like everyone's getting so excited because they're able to see it, but do they know how to believe it, right? So something I'm just kind of curious about and, want people to explore. So hold on, I want to swipe so I can see comments. Swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. Well, that's not working. Well, that's okay. So anyway, that being said, the other part of it is that this is happening in Leo. So it makes sense that, of course, the Leo solar eclipse is going to be the one that's the showstopper, that's visible, that everybody's talking about, because that's Leo energy. Leo is the leader. Leo is the one that wants to be in the spotlight. Leo is the one that is ready to be a leader, but a leader in a new way. And I feel like that's really where we're at right now, worldwide, collectively, politically. All of these things are happening, and they're making us see like, oh wait, I kept asking everybody else for the answers, and it's kind of gotten us in a mess. I keep waiting for everybody else to do the things for me, but actually that's not serving me at all. And so like we're kind of realizing the mess that we're getting in by worshiping other people, by putting so much emphasis on attention and demand on other people. And what it's doing is creating dictatorships and leaderships and organizations that don't serve us, as opposed to allowing ourselves to get into our own, leadership, our own truth, our own ability to seek our own answers and move forward from there. How much different would the collective be right now if we were only relying upon our own leadership? If we had mentors, if we had people all working together, if we were kind of all in this in a way of like, how can we make this work for us all? It'd be so different. But I really realize that part of the mess that we've gotten into is that we're so quick to be like, well, you tell me how to do it, or you do it for us, or I'll just follow what you have to say. But deep down, you don't want to follow what other people have to say. You don't really want to follow their leadership. Like we're so quick to be like, oh, let me get a reading, or let me pull a card, or whatever it may be to get an answer. But deep down, you know what the answer is. And a lot of times the answers are you being courageous, you being willing, you being brave and bold enough to be patient, to see another way, to move forward, to see things through as an opportunity to continue to heal, but also continue to rise up, to also to see that like, you've got this, like you're here for a reason. There are things like you're here to do. And this is the time to do them. So this is a rebirth for a lot of us. Many of you may be feeling like everything is happening and yet nothing is happening. right? Like that's like me right now. And I'm kind of purposely allowing myself to be in that energy because we have this eclipse vortex that's happening. We have the lunar eclipse that started on August 7th, and then we have the solar eclipse that's happening on Monday. And so there's this very heightened portal where everything is coming up. It's all coming up. It's all, an opportunity for us to look at this shit, to have people, or situations or whatever it may be, change, escalate. The dynamics are totally shifting, right? And hey, Rhonda, hey, Christy. And because of the retrogrades, though, it's like there's nothing we can do about it. You know what I mean? So it's like everything is happening, but yet nothing can be done. And it can be a little bit frustrating. It can feel a little bit heavy. It can feel a little bit confusing. It can feel like there's a lot of uncertainty. And so this is an opportunity for us to really be okay with that. Be okay with some of the darkness. Be okay with some of the unknown. Be okay with, the fact that you're not going to have all the answers right now. And in that space, can you find your courage? In that space, can you find your confidence? In this space, can you reflect and find your own ability to rise up as your own leader, to use this as a time of rebirth? Okay, so we are in a rebirthing period right now, but you're still in the womb. It's not time to come out yet. Okay, it's not time to, and that doesn't mean that, you go completely hiding, but you don't need to be as on. The solar eclipse is going to help us kind of with our onness, but because of the retrogrades, it's also a very introspective time. Okay, so that's why many of you may be feeling like everything's happening and so much is coming up and there's so much going on and it's so chaotic. And at the same time, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, or I don't know if there is something I should be doing, or I feel like the answer hasn't been presented yet. And that's very likely, okay? And that's very likely. And so in these times, I want you to realize that in the uncertainty, it's an opportunity to build up your own confidence, to be assured in what's possible, and then realize with this, solar eclipse and the days that follow, and then as we lift out of the retrogrades, Saturn's going to go direct on August 25th, Mercury's going to go direct on September 5th, and then we have a gorgeous full moon in Pisces that's just going to wash away all this debris and just kind of get it all out so that we can really open up and move forward. But I want us to also realize with these eclipses, with these cosmic occurrences, it's not like change is going to happen in an instant. It's not like just because the solar eclipse promises rebirth that all of a sudden that's just going to happen overnight. It could, but these things take time, and they take time because what they're doing is they're asking you to show up in the way that they're showing up for you. Okay, the way that the cosmic energy, the way that higher intelligence, the way that universe is showing up for you, you've got to match that energy. How are you showing up for your life? How are you showing up for this process? How are you being willing to navigate through the uncertainty and not fear it and not doubt it and not be so stuck in the, I don't know what to do. On the flip side of, I don't know what to do is, I know that everything is unfolding. I know that everything is okay. I know that it's all moving through, okay? So the main kind of themes or things that I want you to witness during this time of this kind of lush, chaotic, interesting space we're in with the eclipses and the retrogrades is realize that it's all being shown to you. And now you take that internally and just be with it. Can you just be with the shit that was just presented with you? Can you just be with the fact that like, oh shit, I realized I have been making excuses about X, Y, and Z. Oh, I need to sit with this. I need to heal this. Oh, I've been distracting myself for so many years with this person. I keep believing that it's going to work out. And now I finally realize like, no, I was just distracting myself. Let me sit with that. Let me just be with that. Let me just have an opportunity to heal that, right? So like everything's coming up to show you where you've been blocked, to show you, and I'm not blaming other people. That job, that relationship, whatever it may be, that does nothing to do, like, don't worry about that. But what I want you to see is why were you letting these things happen? Why were you allowing yourself to be blocked? Why were you making excuses? Why were you being addictive or obsessive or just kind of playing it out under the radar? Why were all these things happening, right? So be with that, sit with that, let it all kind of marinate. So then when we get to the flip side, when we come out of this retrograde, when we let the eclipse energy really, percolate in our favor, then we're good. We're in a good spot. Okay? As opposed to being like, why is all this happening to me? Blah, blah, blah. It's so crazy. It's so chaotic. I don't know what to do. Blah, blah, blah. My life's a mess. That does nothing. So I encourage you to, just realize it's all unfolding. What is being revealed to you is an opportunity to heal something. So what is it that needs to be healed? What is it that needs to be looked at differently? What is it that you can't keep slapping a Band-Aid on? What is it that you can't just keep sending love and light to? Okay, what is it that you can't just keep asking your angels about? Okay, what is going on? And how can you sit with that and be with it? So that when this righteous energy comes through with the solar eclipse, with the new moon happening in Leo, with being on the spotlight, with re-identifying what a leader means, how do you then filter in with all of that? How do you then kind of merge with that energy? And I just recorded a amazing meditation for this solar eclipse and Leo new moon energy. If you're not in my moon club, it's already up on my website under my meditations. I'll put the link here. If you are in my moon club, it will be in the portal soon. I just sent it over to have it uploaded and your worksheets created and all that good stuff. So you'll get an email when it's live. So, but I really wouldn't encourage you doing it until Monday anyway. So, you can buy it now, and do it on Monday, or just buy it on Monday and do it then. Or if you're in the club, you'll have access to it then. The solar eclipse is happening. Well, the new moon's happening at 2:30. The solar eclipse is reaching its peak at 2:44 p.m. These are Eastern Standard Time. So 2:30 new moon, then 2:44, and then it's gonna be like bah. But I just really think it's interesting that we're all so like hyped up about it because it's gonna be so visible. Like, nobody was talking about the lunar eclipse, and it rained. Nobody was talking about the eclipses back in February. They were mentioned, but not to this degree. So I do think it's very interesting, but I think it's a good thing because I think what it represents, I think with the Leo energy, what it brings is very much showing us, you know, what's happening in our times. And I think that's a really great thing. So if this is how it needs to go, then this is how it needs to go. So thank you, Christy. You're awesome. All right. So if you found value in this, if there's people that are like, what's going on with this eclipse? I don't understand. Send them my way. Send them to this video. Send them to my moon club. Send them my Dream Makers group. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. I was a little bit off the radar because I needed to be, right? And I want you to recognize that if you're someone that is in the service world, if you're giving, if you do a lot on social media, if there are times where you just don't feel like you can give, then you don't have to. You don't always have to be on. This past week, I really wasn't as on as much as I am. There was a part of me that was like, oh, you know, my Facebook group needs to know about what's going on. But I'm like, you know what? No. I need to tend to me, and I need to tend to my clients, and I need to tend to the people that are kind of like, you know, the ones that make sense. And I need a little time off otherwise, and realize that's okay if you need to do that, because then you'll come back much stronger as opposed to forcing yourself to do things that just aren't aligned, you know? So, all right. Have an amazing rest of your weekend, and I can't wait to see how this solar eclipse new moon pans out for all of us. Bye.